Hello Internet, my name is Taliesin.
And I'm Evitel.
And we, this very second, walked in through the door back from the World of Warcraft movie.
Yep.
Not the World of Warcraft movie, Warcraft.
The movie.
The beginning.
The beginning.
The beginning, as it is called here in the UK. It was launched in the UK today. We've just been to see it. We've literally just stepped off the bus and we're going to talk to you about it.
Yeah, and so we haven't spoken about this at all yet.
No, we haven't. We came out of the cinema and we were like, let's wait until we get home and we'll all flood out for the video. So we literally haven't even talked to each other about this movie yet.
No.
And I'm looking forward to doing that in front of you. I hope we don't argue. I hope we don't break up.
Ooh.
That would be weird. I'm sure that's not going to happen.
Are people into like live breakup webcams?
I'm pretty sure there's a niche for that. But
we're
here to talk about a movie, Evitel, so that's not going to happen. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. What movie might we have broken up if we talked about live? Probably some Tom Hiddleston movie.
Yeah, anything with him in it.
We're never going to review a Tom Hiddleston movie. We don't really review movies. We talk about Warcraft. That's what we do, and that's what we're doing in this video. And this video is going to take the form of 3 different sections. And sections 1 and 2 are going to be spoiler-free. I want to make that very clear. You are safe with us, Internet. We're not going to spoil the fact that Lothar is actually Illidan in disguise at the end of the movie. We're not going to do that.
No. We're not going to do that because that doesn't actually happen.
No, it's not. That's not a spoiler. That's just a lame-ass joke.
It's a bad joke.
So section 1, we're going to talk about the movie, forgetting the fact that we're Warcraft fans.
Yes.
And just talking about it from a filmic point of view. Because, we know our movies. We can do that.
Yeah.
Section 2, we're going to talk about it as Warcraft fans.
Yeah, which we are.
Absolutely. And that's really important, I think, in talking about this film. And section 3... then we go into spoiler territory and we're going to discuss it in depth.
Yeah.
So, welcome to our Warcraft The Beginning.
The beginning.
Video. Evitel, you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Okay, before we start properly, actually, we've actually now recorded the whole video and it is really long.
Yeah, it's late.
Just so you know, this is a long video and I'm not really going to edit it. I'm just going to put it out there, which means that this video isn't like our other videos. Okay, this is kind of like a chain of thought, kind of
freestyle association,
random, and it's
not a bit of a ramble.
Yeah, and it's not quite as slick as our other videos, and I apologise for that because something we're quite proud of is how we put our videos together, and how we sort of present them. And that's not the case in this. We are just talking about the movie quite randomly, and we do go off on little tangents, and we don't really talk. It's not a very in-depth analysis, really. It's very much an emotional response.
Yeah, we're not really great film critics in this.
No, but we are Warcraft fans and movie fans. And so hopefully there's something in it that you would like to listen to. It's going to be very long. There's not going to be any visual stuff happening in this. There's not going to be cool like little clips and stuff.
Apart from these faces.
Yeah, it's just these faces. So if I was you, I would kind of put this on in the background, go and do your garrison chores, queue up for a few quick games of Overwatch, and just have this on the background and see what you think. We're not going to do a video like this again, probably, really, in this kind of format. So,
I'm too tired.
Yeah, this has taken far too long. My Chinese has gone cold. So, just so you know, really, I think that's a fair warning.
Yeah.
Good. Enjoy the video. Deal with it, motherfucker. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, thanks. Fuck you. And fuck you. Oh, and fuck you. And fuck you. Motherfucker. Okay, so straight off the bat, and Warcraft hats off, which is a shame because Warcraft hats are awesome.
Yeah.
Except sometimes your hair clips through them.
And your ears. Yeah. And your eyebrows.
Yeah, and sometimes they change your haircut as well. But that hat off, just for the moment, just from a purely new point of view, Evitel, is Warcraft The Beginning a good movie?
Well, I think Warcraft The Beginning is a pretty good movie.
You do?
Yeah.
Right, so if you didn't know anything about Warcraft, and you had no interest or no reason to have any interest in Warcraft, and you went to see that movie, you'd come out of it and you'd go, hey, that was a pretty good movie.
I think it had characters, a couple of characters, that were really sympathetic and really good, and that even if I didn't know anything about them, And to be honest, I didn't know that much about them because I don't know my lore that well.
You don't, do you?
No, I don't.
You haven't read the Chronicle?
No, I haven't. Not like you.
I have. I've read most of the Chronicle.
In the bathroom.
Pooing. So, yeah.
So there were characters that I think I would have really connected with and really liked, and I thought the CGI was pretty cool.
Did you? Now this is something I want to talk about. This is a really important part of the movie. Like, so you think it's a pretty good movie. As like an action movie, a fantasy movie that some like total bros off the street would come in and watch, which totally happened in our cinema, by the way. Yeah. Big up to our local cinema, Peckham Plex, in London, £4.99 for a ticket to go and see a movie any time of the day or night, anytime, any day of the week, and it's just full of just awesome people. Yeah, people munching popcorn, people shouting at the screen. Shouting, or like anytime something bad happens, there's always a dude who goes, No, you didn't! Yeah, it's pretty cool. And clapping and cheering and laughing. We got some clapping and cheering at very inappropriate moments. There was one dude at the end of our row who's just like rocking all the way through, and I don't think that's because I don't think he was excited. No. I think he was just a rocker. And so like we've seen it in a pretty kind of neutral environment. Yeah. Like this is the kind of audience that I guess the film company and Blizzard would want at this movie. People who I'd say about 50% of that audience just totally weren't Warcraft fans at all. No. They were total just dudes off the street watching a movie with fucking huge swords and shit in it. Total noobs. And orcs. Yeah. And do you think they were impressed? I think they enjoyed it. I mean, they were clapping. They were definitely clapping. They were cheering. They clapped a lot at the end. Do you think that was a sign? Do you think they were like, sorry, we got Chinese takeout. We've just got in. We literally just got in. Sorry. I'm really hungry. Hold on a second. So they were cheering and clapping. They seemed to be enjoying it. Uh-huh. Do you think, because I liked it, and Warcraft hat off, I thought it was a good movie. Mm-hmm. And actually, genuinely, my favourite bits about this movie were the bits with the CGI in it. Yeah, I agree. For me, I watched the trailers like everyone else, and that CGI looks fucking ropey in those trailers, man. And Stormwind still looks ropey. Yeah, it does, man. It looks like this big CGI thing. Yeah. And half the characters in this movie are CGI. Yeah. And, I'm not a big fan of CGI. Like, I came out of the last Avengers movie, like the Captain America movie, Civil War, slagging off the CGI because I hate that shit. I think it's so bad, and I thought it was terrible in that Captain America movie, especially when you've got like trucks coming down the street and they're clearly like computer generated and stuff like that. That kind of shit really annoys me. Yeah. In this movie, I didn't mind it at all. No. And actually, like I say, the bits where the orcs were all there together, those are my favourite bits of the movie. Me too. And I mean, this isn't a spoiler because I think everyone knows it's got orcs and it's got humans. If that is a spoiler to you, go home. This is not your movie, sorry. The orcs looked really good. They look fucking awesome. One thing that I loved, orcs have chest hair. Yeah, man, and they really have chest hair. And it was part of this CGI effect, and it looked really good. And like their skin looked cool, and their mouths moved kind of realistically. And I loved the CGI. On the orcs especially. That first shot of pretty much the entire movie, after you get past that little intro, is of like a close-up of Duratan just watching like his wife sleeping. Yeah. And it's awesome. Yeah. Like it's heavy and it's real and it's like porous. Yeah. And it's twitchy. Yeah. And they take up space and they sort of, and it's really cool. And like honestly, the best bits of this movie are the CGI heavy bits. Yeah. And I never say that. Like, I wanted to walk away from Jurassic Park, the new Jurassic Park movie, the second, like, that bird foot came down and it was CGI right at the very beginning. I was like, fuck this movie. This movie sucks ass. I fucking hate this movie. And yet, like, the CGI in this film, it totally works. Do you think that's because it's a video game adaptation? I think it might have something to do with it. Do you think it's a bad sign that you thought the CGI was really good? Does that mean the actual humans weren't quite as good? Do I think it's a bad sign? Yeah, actually. Yeah, because without my Warcraft hat on, and being perfectly honest, I don't think this is a very good movie. It's a thoroughly enjoyable movie. Yeah, oh yeah. But I don't think it's a particularly good movie. I think
Maybe that's what I meant when I said good. I meant like it's a movie you go in and you enjoy on a holiday weekend.
But I've had like poos that I really enjoy. I wouldn't pay $4. Oh, I would actually, some of them. But you know, like what I'm saying is, you know, from a kind of an artistic point of view, I don't think this is a very good movie. I think there are some awesome performances in it. And I think there's some beautiful effects, and like some of them, there's two fight scenes, which blew my mind, and which I thought were brilliant. And they're not like particularly Hollywood-like fight scenes either, and that's what I felt was quite impressive. Like, we're so used to these grand battles with billions of people running at each other. Like, you know what a fantasy battle looks like because you've seen it in Lord of the Rings, you've seen it in the Hobbit movies, and like you've even seen it in the terrible Star Wars prequels as well. Like, you know what that kind of battle looks like. And this doesn't do that. The battles are kind of smaller scale. And for me, they're all the better for it. Like, they're more personal. Yeah,
and like when the orcs hit each other, they're like, boom.
Yeah, man.
Like, you feel it. They're not like really fluffy CGI where like there's no physics and things just kind of like bounce off of each other.
And like the flashier and like the more magic-y effects and stuff that happened, the more I was liking what was going on the screen.
Same.
Which I did not expect. I was expecting myself to really be holding out for those moments of characterization and of talking and of the more grown-up things that I like in movies. No, I was wrong, internet. And that's probably the first time it's ever going to happen.
So all in all, entertaining, especially when things go boom and pew pew and
which maybe there wasn't enough of. Do you think there maybe wasn't enough of the pew pew?
I think there wasn't enough of the magic, but I think that's something we can talk about more in the spoiler section.
Yeah, okay. And do you know what? I think there's some moments in this movie that are really badly put together and don't make sense. Like, there's a scene where someone gets teleported away from something. And the next time you see them, they're just hanging out with someone in a room. And it's like, what the fuck?
There's some confusing cuts.
There's some really confusing cuts that don't help with story. And I'm thinking, like, looking at it from a kind of a non-Warcraft point of view, I'd be sitting there going, I don't even know what the fuck's happening.
That's possible.
Because I was sitting there as someone who knows that story, despite what differences there may be in that story. And I was thinking, what the fuck? I don't understand how they got to this scene and how this character got to what he is doing or she is doing right now. There were moments, and I don't think that was me being in a really noisy cinema, because Beckham Place is a noisy cinema, and I love that about it. I think that was genuinely just quite bad editing.
Okay, but did you still enjoy it?
I enjoyed the good bits. I think the main thing we want to take from this is that this movie is not a dud. It's a good, strong fantasy movie
with great CGI in some parts, like really impressive.
CGI in some parts, like fair play, really good. And all those worries you've heard on message boards and that I've said myself and things, don't be worried about that. It works. Let's move on to section 2. So section 2, we're going to talk about this movie from a much more geeky point of view.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Putting our Warcraft hats back on.
Oh, my hair has changed. I put my hat on and there's a shadow and
my little brows are sticking out.
No, your brows are sticking out? Yeah. Shit, man.
It's
damn.
The plight of the night elf.
That's the Warcraft hat.
Yeah.
And it is on.
It's on.
Because, let's face it, most of the people watching this video, certainly you and I, play Warcraft.
Yeah.
Enjoy Warcraft. That's the reason we've gone to see this movie. Evitel. Once that food is out of your mouth, is this a movie that Warcraft fans are going to like, or are they going to go, Duncan Jones, what have you done? Why have you shat on all my hopes and dreams, Duncan Jones? Zoe, why have you done this? Is that what they're going to say?
I think they're not going to say that.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you said that.
Speaking as a Warcraft fan and player, I enjoyed it.
Oh.
It gave me, in some ways, it gave me what I wanted. And it actually gave me things that I didn't even think I want.
Such as?
Including orcs. So I've never rolled an orc before. I just haven't.
It sounded quite sexual.
Yeah. I think this all does. You can.
Yeah.
This is all one big euphemism. I've never rolled an orc before, and I don't know why. Maybe just aesthetically, I don't like them.
Yeah,
or
I know why.
Oh, why?
It's because they go like this. And they do in this movie.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah.
But I have to say, this movie gave me a new appreciation for orcs. And it really made me appreciate their lore and their story and how they're kind of this really conflicted race with really interesting characters.
Some really interesting characters.
Yeah.
And I would go as far as to say the most interesting characters in the film. The way there's conflict and there's like genuine humanity to them, which I kind of feel isn't there with a lot of the human characters.
Yeah.
They're if anything,
ironically enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are moments with like Duratan, who I was a little teary at some points. They were seriously, there were moments kind of between these characters, magically in CGI, that I was really touched by. And can I say it? They're orc babies.
Yeah, we've all seen the Orc Baby.
Ah.
We all had our suspicions about the Orc Baby.
Yeah.
And like the way it moved and was CGI'd and stuff. It's good though, isn't it?
Yeah, the Orc Baby was a big hit in our
The Orc Baby got a fucking round of applause.
Yeah.
When that thing popped out, when that baby was delivered, and we'll talk about how it's delivered in the spoiler section, because I think it's definitely worth mentioning. Actually, I really fucking loved that bit, by the way. That was awesome.
Okay.
I love the birth of the baby.
Wow.
Which,
okay.
and I genuinely thought that was an awesome scene.
Yeah.
That shit got a round of applause.
Yeah, it did.
That shit got a whoop.
Yeah, it got some woo.
Baby born!
Woo!
Ah!
Okay, so, yeah, in summary, I really liked the orcs. And, yeah, this movie gave me something from the Warcraft universe that I thought I wasn't really into, but that I could actually really dig.
Yeah. And speaking as a Warcraft fan, I think, like, the moments the movie worked best was, again, something that I would have wanted to avoid with the movie, and which I felt, as a result, they probably avoided too much, which is the idea of the moments where the movie worked best was where they totally indulged the World of Warcraft geekdom. And, like, for me, the first moment in that movie that I just went, was when they went to Stormwind and the Stormwind music starts playing.
Oh, but just a clip.
And because you've got the soundtrack,
snippet.
which is completely separate from any Warcraft soundtrack. It's its own music. And then they go to Stormwind, and we've all seen the little clip where it like pans over Stormwind and stuff. And you just get like this slight hint in the music of da 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 da.
Just a moment of it, but it's enough to make you go. Woo!
Yeah, and then there's a moment where like they're riding through Elwyn Forest, and there's a fucking Murloc just hanging out, and there's a moment where they go into Goldshire Inn, and again for no reason, the king's just hanging out in Goldshire. He's like, we need to go and see the king.
He does.
I've got some very important news for the king. We need to go and see the king. Where is he? Goldshire Inn.
Yeah. But yeah.
Because that's where the fucking king hangs out, in Goldshire Inn. Where is he? Oh, he's just upstairs doing some ERP.
Yeah. He's just doing a dance on the bed.
Just fucking hanging out. Where's his squire? Just on the mailbox. Just doing a sexy dance on the mailbox. And I kind of feel like it was great they put that shit in.
Yes,
and I loved
those moments were really good.
Yeah.
And I wanted more. To be honest, I wanted more of that.
Those are the moments that and I think being objective, not even just as a Warcraft fan, but I feel like those moments worked best filmically as well, because they were more honest.
Yeah, and they're part of this universe.
Yeah, exactly. And the universe is fucking good.
It is good.
So yeah, actors. What do you think of the actors in this movie? Are they well cast? And if they're not, is that their fault or is that the character's fault?
Okay, totally spoiler-free version.
Yes, please.
I think a handful of them are really well cast.
Such as?
The ones who are covered in CGI. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They work it.
The best actors in this movie are CGI characters.
Yeah.
And that's not being derogative, and that's not taking the piss, and that's not a criticism of the movie.
No.
The best thing about this movie are the CGI characters. I totally agree. I think they are wonderful and magical and new and fresh and original, and I liked all of them. But particularly Durotan and Ogrim Doomhammer, who is not in this movie enough at all. That's Robert Kalinski's character.
Yeah, really good.
Gul'dan.
Gul'dan is nuts.
That should not work.
No,
by the way, we're going to talk about this in section 3.
Yeah.
But it does totally work.
Crazy.
Yeah, and the way they sort of show fell magic, and Draenei and stuff, I thought was really effective, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was fantastic world building, and I kind of felt like the story kind of got in the way of that.
Yeah, I wanted more of those little bits of the universe that are so unique and special to Warcraft, and. Oh, I don't know if this is a spoiler. Is it a spoiler? But the way mages make portals...
That's not a spoiler.
Is so cool. They just kind of like pull them out of the ground. And I thought, whenever that happened, and I was watching it, I was like, oh, if I didn't get this universe, if this was new to me, if I saw that happening, I would be like, oh, he's making a portal now.
Yeah,
but you they did it really nicely. So there are moments like that where yeah, I really liked it, and they played with Warcraft and the tropes and the things that just happen, and gave them like a little bit of magic.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and just gave it a kind of a three-dimensional physical reality to it, which I thought worked really well. The orc graphics and the orc characters in this movie look really, really Warcraft 1. They are proper orcs versus humans, massively triangular, like tall, kind of lanky in a way. Do you know what I mean? Long-armed, like lithe, like ridiculously muscly, like stupidly muscly, and it works.
Yeah, a bit like you.
Yeah, totally like me, like ripped, mate.
Yeah,
absolutely. Don't touch it because you can't afford it, or something. And they totally work. And again, there's nothing naturalistic about them at all. They're very, very stylized. Yeah. And that's why it works.
Yeah, that totally works in their favor.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you worry with CGI. It's like it's going to be in that uncanny valley where things kind of look human and kind of don't and just end up looking fucked up. They don't in this case. They look really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and the battle scenes and the reason the battle scenes are really good is because you see orcs doing their thing in there. And it's not even the fights, which are pretty standard really, and not very long. There's not much fighting in this movie, all things considered.
That's true.
But just watching the orcs do their thing was awesome. Yeah. I spent 2 years playing Warlords of Draenor. I should not be able to watch a movie full of orcs and have fun. Do you know what I mean? And yet I did. And the orcs were the best bit in that movie.
Although there's a line where someone goes, "Sir, someone's attacked your garrison," and I felt a little chill go through your body at the word garrison.
Yeah, I felt a chill go through 50% of that audience. They were like, "Don't fuck around." What?
What garrison?
Don't go to the garrison table. If he turned around and been like, "At my garrison? Shit, man. What, you mean there's a garrison invasion? Are my herbalism nodes okay?"
Yeah, I felt you tense up a little bit at that word. Not gonna lie. A little went through the
I kind
audience.
of felt that through the audience as well. Yeah,
but it was all clear.
There are no garrisons in this movie. It's okay. Seriously, it's all right. It's right.
It's just a movie about maintaining your garrison.
There's a lot of Stormwind in this movie.
Yeah.
There are tantalising snippets of Draenor, the Orc homeworld.
Yes.
There are other parts of the Warcraft world, the World of Warcraft world, which are presented. Did you recognise those? Did you get a kick out of those?
Oh, yeah. Well, like Dalaran comes up.
Dalaran is totally there and is incredibly recognisable as Dalaran. Like, obviously, what I suppose later becomes the Swamp of Sorrows is in it, where the portal is, and the Blasted Lands. Yeah. And there's an awesome, this is not a spoiler, I promise, there's an awesome fight, and probably the best scene in the movie for me, which I guess is in Deadwind Pass.
Oh yeah, that must
and like
be it.
Again, very recognisable as that.
Yeah,
and easily the best scene in that whole movie, where everything just kind of comes together. It's about 2/3 of the way through the movie. It's not like the climax or anything.
No,
but it's clearly a very important part of the movie, and it's just, and that for me was like, if all the movie was like this, this would be a genuinely awesome film.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I got a little kick out of, they do a bird's eye view of like Red Ridge Mountains at one point.
They do.
And you see it, and you see the bridge, and I'm like, oh.
Where it's all burning and everyone's dying.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen that in the trailer, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
But
it's
it made me want a quest. It made me want a quest there again. Because I loved those quests. But yeah, things like that. Recognizing places.
And actually, there was a moment, the end credits, okay? Like, again, this isn't giving anything away. The end credits feature really awesome magey, magic-y effects of like all different colours, purples and greens, and like all this very kind of Warcrafty, magey effects. And you're like,
I wanted more of that.
Where the fuck was that in the movie? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, fuck you. That was awesome, and that felt really Warcrafty.
I got a little tingle.
Yeah, me too. In the fucking
like,
end credits, I'm like, dudes, we could have done with more of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it feels like those are the moments where it had its own identity. And it's a good identity. There's a reason why, like, millions and millions of people have played this game and really enjoyed it. It's because it has a great identity. You know? And to kind of purposely step away from that, parts in this movie are the moments where, as a Warcraft fan or not, the movie falls flat.
Well, maybe that's something they're going to explore in Warcraft The Middle, or Warcraft Part 2, or whatever the next one is going to be called.
Warcraft, the middle bit. Yeah.
Presuming it's going to be a trilogy.
I mean, that's what Duncan Jones has said he wants to do.
Okay.
Yeah. He said he gets Tauren in the next one. If he makes another one, he gets Tauren in it. Mind you, he had dwarfs in this one, supposedly.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to have Tauren... And Draenei. Let's see more of them. We're not going to see more of them, are we?
Oh.
Not in the story.
That is something I really liked. And that happens, and you see them very briefly, and they look cool. You know, they're not this, like, smooth, perfect thing. They've got kind of scaly, rough skin, and they look real and kind of touchable. And I wanted more of them.
They weren't sexy, were they?
Well, they could have been, but they were not in a circumstance.
They weren't
to be
sexy. They were bony and dye.
Oh, they were cool.
They were dye. They very dyed.
Still cool.
Totally dyed.
Totes.
Evitel.
Yeah.
I want to go on to the spoiler section because I kind of feel like everything we've said so far is a bit shit.
Yeah,
because I feel like we're being very limited here.
I know.
And I feel like we should just move straight to the spoiler section and discuss this shit in depth.
Let's do it.
Internet, if you don't want to hear spoilers of this movie, this is the time to turn off. So let's talk massive spoilers, which I kind of just did on the camera.
Yeah, actually.
Sorry about that. King Lane dies. You know King Lane dies.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Anyone who knows any of the story of Warcraft, when they saw the characters in this film, they were like, oh, this film should basically be called Warcraft, Don't Get Too Attached to Anyone. Because you know every fucker dies in this movie.
Yeah.
Like...
It's kind of like an episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, right? And maybe that's something they could have done more with, I suppose. There's one moment, actually, in the fight scene where, like... the last fight scene is quite brutal, where loads of humans get killed. And there's one moment where an orc just grabs a human's head and just squashes it. Yeah. And that's so unlike anything else that's happened in that movie at that point. Yeah. And you're like, boom, wow, what? Fuck, shit. Yeah. And it's like a tiny little moment. He grabs a dude's head and he's just like, and he squashes it like a grape.
Yeah, because up until then, you know, you have fighting and people stabbing each other,
heavy
and cutting each other. Yeah, it's intense. But yeah, that's the moment where it's like the shit is really going down for the humans. Like, but you feel it because I noticed that too and went, ooh.
Yeah, and there's another moment where there's a character that we've been following all the way through the movie.
Yeah,
just gets picked up and his head doesn't get snapped off, but it gets twisted around pretty nastily, and it gets thrown away like a ragdoll. It's a lot of ragdoll throwing.
A lot of ragdolls.
And that was pretty awesome as well. My favourite parts of these movies, of this movie, was those bits where the orcs come into contact with the humans, which doesn't look as shit as you think it's going to. It doesn't look shit at all. Like I say, those are the best parts of this film. And those fights that happen are the best bits in the movie, by far for me. Like the bit in Elwyn Forest where they meet the orcs for the first time.
Yeah, that was good.
And Black Hand picks up the fucking horse and throws the horse. Love that shit.
Yeah.
And they fight. And the bit in Deadwind Pass where Durotan tries to get him all chummy with the humans. And they have a big fight. And Orgrim betrays them because he's told Black Hand what's going on. He is still Ogrim the Betrayer, which I thought was really nice. And that bit was my favourite scene in the entire film. That bit where they're in the pass and they have that huge fight. It was a brutal fight. It was awesome. It was heavy. It didn't have that thing which most movies these days have when they have fights of, like, every fight you see in a movie at the moment is like super fast.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm blocking you, I'm blocking you, I'm blocking you, now I'm punching you, now I'm jabbing you in the neck, and now I'm doing that. And like, that didn't happen in this movie at all. The fights were like heavy, they had big weapons, it was big swings, slow strikes.
Everyone's kind of lumbering around, and like, you get the feeling that armor's heavy, man.
It totally worked. I really liked it. And it was different. It was different from a lot of those kind of movies that you see. Like when you go and watch The Avengers, I mean, they're cool, they're really spectacular and awesome, but they're, you know, they're slipping around each other and like catching each other's bits and like blocking and counter blocking and stuff like that. Not in Warcraft. In Warcraft, there's a big fucking hammer and someone hits you with it, just like in the game. Like, you know, and it was great and it was awesome and it felt lovely, and there should be more moments like that in that movie. You know? So I feel like we can talk about the good and the bad bits about this film more now that we can go on to spoilers. Let's talk about the very start of the film. Ignoring the intro that everyone's seen that's on the trailer, where it's like some human dude and some orc dude about to have a fight. And the voice clip is like, orcs and humans have been fighting for as long as we remember, but this is where it all began. And we go back and we go straight to Draenor, as we know, but is never mentioned. It's simply the orc homeworld, which again I thought was kind of confusing.
Oh, definitely. And the portal. I mean, if I didn't know about the portal, I would be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
where did it come from?
Nothing's explained at all. We get that Gul'dan is kind of behind it.
Yeah, and he can kind of magic it.
You know, and we get that Gul'dan is this big fucking important orc, and he's brought all the tribes together. And some of them aren't, you know, they're a bit confused about it and stuff. We get that their homeworld is dying, although we never really see that.
No. Well, you hear about it, though, and I think once you see Gul'dan and you see his, like, fell energy and little green bits everywhere, you start to understand that that's bad. And that's doing... No, really. Like,
no, you're right.
Like, you see it and you're like, oh, that's bad. And then it's causing all this other badness, and it's causing the world to just kind of decay. And so you learn that eventually, I think off the bat, being there in the orc homeworld with a giant portal, you're like, what is that?
It comes out of nowhere.
It does.
And, well, of course it does, because it's the very beginning of the movie. But also, it's not really explained. And I get that they're kind of... And I like that they introduced us to the orcs before they introduced us to humans. I think that was really important. And like the first scene is Durotan hanging out with his pregnant wife. And that's cool. And I like the bit where they go through the portal as well. I'd like to have seen them getting the jump on some humans straight up. You know, because we hear about it kind of third hand before we ever see it. You know, when we suddenly then we're from the human point of view, and they're like, shit, man, some of our garrisons are getting wrecked, and there are these big psycho giants. I think that's actually what they say.
Yeah, they call them giants.
They call them like psycho giants, don't they? They say psycho giants. I know. Oh, there are some psycho giants. And there's a bit like watching one of our videos. There's a really weird mix of American and English accents in this film.
Yeah, because you know when you have kind of like high fantasy in movies, a lot of the time you get people putting on British accents, or you have Americans trying to do British accents.
Because it's incredibly respectful.
Right.
Like, it gives you a gravitas. Haven't you noticed how like, clever I sound because of my accent?
Yeah, you've got the gravitas.
Yeah, gravitas coming out my ass. All over my face.
And or you understand that, okay, the good guys have American accents and the bad guys have British accents.
Yeah,
right?
If we're watching Die Hard.
Or any American movie ever made. But in this case, there's just a really confusing mix of American and English and whatever accents. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there certainly is. Khadgar. What do you think of Khadgar?
Oh, I feel bad because he's clearly like 15.
He's the son of two famous actors.
Oh.
Just going to put that out there.
okay, when he first came on, I hated him, and I'm like,
Why did you hate him?
who is this little doughboy? Like he was just like, just fresh out of like drama class or something. But then I warmed up to him, and I was like, okay, he's like the ingenue, like he's a little bit fresh and confused, and then there's a moment. Do you remember when people actually laughed in the cinema?
Yeah.
When he goes into the box.
What the fuck?
Oh, we'll get to the box.
Yeah,
but he goes in the box, and Glenn Close. I'm pretty sure
it looked like Glenn Close, didn't it? Was it Glenn Close?
I think it's Glenn Close.
Internet, comments.
Tell
Is
us.
Glenn Close in this fucking movie? Because I think Glenn Close is in this movie. I'm just putting that out there, and that is a spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
Glenn Close is in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I don't think she should be.
Okay, and there's a moment where...
I like Glenn Close.
Yeah, I like her too.
Call me.
And Khadgar, whatever, in the beginning I was like, I warmed up to him, but then he gets into this box and he delivers a line. I don't remember what it was, but I don't remember. He says like, I know you. I saw you in the library.
I recognise you from the library.
And the way he says it, everyone laughed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't particularly funny, but I think it was just bad acting.
It was bad acting.
And
it was bad script. And also, at that point in the movie, no one knew or really gave a fuck what was going on. Like, we just seen some amazing scenes.
Yeah.
And I'd say that pretty much every scene with Khadgar in it was shit.
Yeah.
Like, from the moment he is introduced.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, I want to go back to this fell magic that happens right at the very beginning of the movie with Gul'dan. Because one of my favourite things about this movie was the fell magic. I don't play Warlock. I'm not involved with fell magic. I'm fucking sick of it after raiding Hellfire Citadel for a year. I could do without fell magic in my life, to be honest. But I loved how they did it so physically. There's this amazing scene later on in the movie where Gul'dan's just chilling out, talking to Ogrim Doomhammer, and he's got like this human just chained up next to him, and every now and then Gul'dan is just like and sucking shit out of his face, like powering himself. There's a real sense of fell magic coming from death.
Yeah, and like sucking the life out of someone.
Yeah,
literally.
and like this guy's like, and he's pulling it out of his face and getting stronger and just charging himself up with it. And it was really cool. And it has a real physicality about it. And it's really real and really good. And that is established right at the very beginning of the movie. Really cool. And then you see humans who have come into contact with these orcs, and they're all shriveled up and like they've had all their life drawn out of them from this foul magic.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, fucking Travis Fimmel rocks up. And I've got a feeling we're going to have some disagreements about Travis Fimmel in this movie. And I couldn't even tell you what happened in those first human scenes. Where he's like, what's happened to all these humans? And something sucked them off. Something sucked their faces. And he's like, what? Oh, that's bad. Do we have any witnesses? And there's like, there's a guy he was searching the bodies. And he's like, where is this guy? And then he has a fight with Khadgar. And Khadgar tries to make some magic, and he's like, you're not casting magic in my house. And it's all just really weird. And it's like a really bad introduction to those characters.
Yeah, it's hard to understand what's happening in those scenes.
And do you know why it's hard to understand?
Why?
Because Travis Fimmel is a fucking shit actor.
No.
Yeah, he's fucking shit.
We're talking about Lothar right now.
Lothar, Travis Fimmel, the guy from Vikings.
No.
Who I'd never seen because I haven't seen Vikings. I'm really sorry about that. I fucking hate him in this movie.
What?
And I say that as someone who really enjoyed the performances of a lot of other actors in this film.
He conveys something to me. He conveys a sense of duty, but also like a bit rebellious, and he's got like...
I got the rebellious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
I just didn't get anything else. Like, for me, because he was like... He moves his face in a really weird way. And I get that I'm on shaky ground saying that, because I move my face in a weird way. I get that, okay, I'm sorry. But he moves his face in a really weird way. And for me, it just didn't fit in a fantasy movie. Like, everything he did, he was like...
Really?
That's my impression of Travis Fimmel acting. Should I do it again?
No. I didn't
Cast me
that.
in Warcraft the Middle, because I can do this.
I didn't see that at all.
Really?
I saw someone who was like mostly stony faced.
No, what?
Yeah.
He moves his face in really odd ways.
It's like imperceptible to my eye.
Why? What were you looking at? We are going to split up in this video.
I was looking at his face.
Yeah, choke on your fucking chair. We're not going to. I'm joking. I'm clearly joking.
I don't know. I liked him. You know, maybe he wasn't perfect, but I really liked watching him do his thing, and I believed him, and I believed him with Garona.
Okay, let's move on to Garona and Lothar loving it up.
Loving it up.
Because you know, remember I said about there are scenes that just completely come out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Like, there is a really kind of enforced sexual chemistry between them. Like, from the second they see each other, like, you're green and murderous, but for some reason you're really attractive. Probably to do with the loincloth you're wearing.
Oh, yeah. Can we say really artfully tiny rags?
Yeah.
Like, artfully placed tiny rags, much like Slutmug.
Yeah, and do you know what? The orcs weren't fucking wearing many clothes either. The human male,
That's true.
the male orcs.
Exactly.
Like, they were pretty fleshy.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fucking muscle on display. And a lot of thigh.
Lots of thigh.
For men and women. In fact,
yeah.
I would say the women were generally more covered up than the men in this movie.
I
Which
agree.
is great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, there's a scene where she's hanging out with Khadgar. And Khadgar does that weird thing where he sends her in a weird portal away. And then the next time we see her, she's hanging out with Lothar. She's not like, oh, I was just hanging out with Khadgar and he just like magiced me away without my permission. She doesn't even mention that. No. She's like, now I'm hanging out with you. And she's all like, la, la, la.
That's not
out
true.
Out of nowhere. His son has just died.
That's not true. She knows she's going to go to him because she was just talking with No, she was talking with Medivh.
Medivh. Did I say Khadgar?
Yeah.
I meant Medivh.
She's talking with Medivh, and Medivh gives her this lecture about love, kind of out of nowhere. And then he says, go to Lothar.
Oh, does he?
He does.
I missed that bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I take that back, internet. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. By the way...
Yeah.
Is Medivh meant to be Garona's dad?
Ooh, right? That's in his little lecture about love. Because he's like, I travelled far away.
Okay, because in lore, in game lore, Garona is half orc, half Draenei. Which makes perfect sense, because that's the fucking world she's from.
Yeah.
In this movie, I think she genuinely kind of says, I am half orc, half human.
She says, I'm neither orc. She's like, I'm not an orc. I'm not a human. So she implies she is half of each.
And there's a bit where Medivh is talking, and he says, once I went far away, and I met some brave people, and one of them fell in love with me and accepted me for what I was, even though I was very different. And kind of implies that he's Garona's dad.
A little bit. I got that impression too.
But not in enough of a way to make anyone care.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like she goes, oh, you're my dad, let's have a moment. It's like, I'm explaining this kind of law change we've made.
Yeah.
Okay, so... the most cop-out way possible.
Maybe he's not supposed to be her dad, then.
Maybe.
Maybe we both just...
So why have that fucking bit? I don't understand. Yeah. It was confusing.
It was
And this is the thing, right? I do like this movie a lot. But the kind of human interactions... when I say human, I just mean character interactions. It's not everyone's human. In this movie, let it down.
Yeah.
For me. Big time.
Yeah.
And not between the orcs. Like, orc on orc action in this movie, as expected, is great.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so surprisingly good.
But human on human action, or human on half human action,
I liked
Lothar
and Garona. I liked that. I felt them. Garona has a great face.
Oh, also, yeah, she's awesome.
She's 40. Like, man, like, I give up. Like, I'm out of the game.
She's smoking hot.
Yeah, but, she's really, and she has this really expressive face.
She does.
And really kind of, sensitive eyes. And...
Did you think she was savage enough?
Yeah, I thought she was, kind of like a bad bitch in the
I thought she was a
beginning.
badass, but I didn't think she was savage. Like, I'm not sure I believe she was brought up as a slave for her entire life. I thought she was brought up in the fucking hood. Like, she was awesome and badass and cool, but she was badass in a kind of, a really savvy way.
Yeah.
But not in a kind of, I'm like...
But I
just
thought
a
that was
savage killer
good. It's like
way.
she kind of learned, you know, she picked up human language
Yeah,
and
okay.
she learned things. And so, yeah, I thought she was quite savvy and savage, but not more savvy than savage.
Okay.
Or something.
Cool. Okay, so, I mean, I'm going to say one last thing about Travis Fimmel as Lothar. The first time we see Travis Fimmel, like I say, is in Ironforge. And there's some random dwarf. By the way, I really liked that the dwarfs in this movie don't have Scottish accents. Okay, because obviously the stereotypical dwarf in Warcraft has a Scottish accent.
Where does that come from?
That comes from Lord of the Rings.
But
because
is that
they just
where
decide,
it came from?
yeah, they just decided to make their dwarfs Scottish.
I love it.
And because like World of Warcraft was there,
all of fantasy decided
World of Warcraft did, yeah, like made their dwarfs Scottish, which is fine. And I like that the movie purposely doesn't do that. They give them Cockney accents.
Yeah.
Cockney as in like dirty London accents, which being in London, I really like. I love that the dwarfs weren't like, "Oh, good to see you." They were like, "Oh, I'm mate, gonna give you a fucking gun. You're gonna shoot something with it, yeah? Pop, pop."
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I thought it was really cool. So I like that. But the first time we see Lothar, there's some dwarf giving him a boomstick.
Yeah.
I've made this thing. It's a boomstick. And Lothar's like, "Ooh, what's this boomstick?" Like, never mind that 5 minutes later, the whole of the Alliance army has them.
Boomstick.
And is like shooting orcs with them. Like, fuck that. Like, Lothar, who is like a general, has never seen one of these boomsticks before. So I don't know how the humans get so fucking good at them so quickly. And I honestly thought, in that introduction to Lothar, obviously I knew who he was because I'd seen trailers and stuff, I knew who was playing him. The way he was behaving in that scene, I genuinely thought it was a flashback and he was supposed to be some fucking dippy teenager. Because he's like this. And like the dwarf is giving him the gun and he's like...
I think we
Doesn't
saw...
he like literally put it in his own face at one point?
Does.
Like, and it's like, he could have been wearing one of those hats with a little propeller on it. Like he was like, "Oh, what is this?" And he's like some dippy and I genuinely thought it was a flashback to when Lothar was a kid.
I honestly think we saw a different movie. Like,
That's
I
what I
think
thought.
I have like my Lothar glasses on or something because I did not see this weird face acting. I just saw a dude who is doing fantasy.
But you bought him as the hero of the movie. You believed him as the hero of the movie.
No, I didn't feel like there was really any one hero of the movie.
But if there is one, it's him though, isn't it?
Yeah, no. To me, the hero was Duratan.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Duratan's the hero of the movie.
Yeah, no, you're right, actually. Duratan is the hero of the movie. And also has a pretty awesome fight with Gul'dan at the end. I'm going to get onto other characters in a minute, but I want to talk about Duratan, Gul'dan, and their fucking awesome fight at the very end of this movie.
Yeah, that was real.
Yeah.
That was like...
Brilliant scene, and again, a fight scene.
Yeah.
And this is unlike me. Those scenes are the best scenes in this movie. They're really great. Gul'dan, who's played by, who is it? Daniel Wu, who is like one of the most famous Asian actors in the world. He's American born, but he's been like in like hundreds of Chinese, I think, movies. And he's like a super mega star in China.
Wow.
I don't know if you got that in his accent. Because I kind of did, because I knew it anyway. Gul'dan in this film, what did you think?
He's terrifying. Gul'dan was really creepy and well done and had like a split lip and ugly teeth and was surprisingly, because, you know, I guess I see Gul'dan and just think of him as this kind of like hunched over little like crotchety dude. But I suppose when he gets like the fell magic, there's a bit when he has the fight with Duratan and he just like rips his cloak off and is this like massive hulking beast. It was... But
really sinewy and nasty. Like,
yeah, really nasty. That was great. I like totally bought him as this super villain.
Yeah, and I thought all the way through, again, just another case of him being like the orcs being really well realized characters. He was genuinely menacing and genuinely scary, and genuinely believable as well. I totally got how he was just like this mental, power crazed but very seductive kind of guy.
Yeah.
And there's this beautiful bit where he's having like a big traditional orc fight with Durotan at the very end. Now Durotan's doing it purposely to try and expose Gul'dan. Does not work at all. But Gul'dan blatantly just cheats because he wants to get it over with, and like is sucking the life force out of him. And all the orcs are like, "You're a dick. You're not allowed to do that." But then for some reason they're like, "Okay, we're going to go fight the humans."
Because he threatens them.
Yeah.
You know.
And so that's what Orc Corner is worth. But and it's just this awesome fight, and he just sucks the life out of Gul'dan. And Orgrim is like looking at him, going, "Shit, man, this is kind of my fault. I'm so sorry." Even though he's kind of redeemed himself by then, Orgrim. And it's just beautiful. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
And Durotan dies in this movie. You know he's going to die anyway in the lore, because he has to. But Gul'dan kills him in one-on-one combat, and he's left as this kind of shriveled up husk at the end, which is, again, a really beautiful, great bit of storytelling.
It really is, especially because Durotan was, again, with all the other orcs, like, really believable, and had this, like, really expressive face, and, like, these great kind of sensitive eyes, and
it was just beautifully done.
Yeah, and I loved watching the orcs talk to each other, because I was like, oh,
and just chill out with each other. There's that really nice bit where they're just sitting on the hill looking over their new home, Azeroth, and Orgrim's just like chucking stones at Durotan's head.
And they have a giggle.
Yeah, they have a total bro moment.
Yeah, they like, sit
bro,
there. Yeah,
bro.
Hey mate.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
And that's where they realise that everywhere Gul'dan goes, his magic like sucks the life out of places, because they're in this amazing new lush world with trees and mountains and snow, except where they are, because there's little pools of green fell everywhere, and Durotan's like, "This shit is not right. We got to do something about this shit." And they don't manage to really, but all those bits with the orcs, absolutely blinding. So you've got one baddie who is a baddie right from the beginning, quite obviously Gul'dan. You've got another baddie in this movie, who, again, if you know anything about Warcraft lore, you know is a baddie. His name is Medivh. Mm-hmm. What did you think of Medivh? Well,
being an avid Hearthstone player, the image I had in my mind of Medivh was basically the Hearthstone hero, who's just, I think, in a cloak.
Yeah, well, he's quite... Because in Warcraft as well, he's got like a pointy black beard.
Yes.
And he's very kind of Ming the Merciless.
Yeah, he's
like no mistaking that dude for a goodie, is there?
Yeah. So I was a bit shocked to see him looking quite kind of small and blondish. Mm-hmm. A bit Jesus-like.
I see. Lovely long fingernails. So.
Yeah. I wasn't crazy about him.
But what about the character and the character development?
I thought that was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I got that he was conflicted and he made mistakes. And there's a moment where he's like thinking about helping out the Alliance while they're in the pass. And he's just there for a while not doing anything.
Well, he's trying to kind of egg himself on.
Yeah.
And I think Medivh is a really interesting kind of character in this film, because he does help the orcs through the portal. And there's kind of the suggestion that, because in the game he just totally embraces fell magic, and that's his whole plan, is to get the orcs through the portal and shit. And there's kind of the suggestion, although, am I wrong? Was it not very well explained, that he kind of had looked at fell magic and tried to explore it, and he didn't even remember letting the orcs through the portal?
Yeah, it's like he becomes possessed by the fell magic.
Yeah.
But he has these moments of clarity when he can almost like step outside of it, and then he's like, "Oh,
shit,
I did that.
Ah, damn."
Yeah.
And he's like, he goes, "I can't. I think I probably helped the orcs through, didn't I?"
Yeah.
And he's really like, the moment you see him, because I know that Duncan Jones and all the cast are like, "Oh, well, we don't know if he's a baddie or not. It might be different from the game lore." The second you see Medivh, you're like, "Oh no, he's a fucking baddie."
He's like,
totally. Like, there's no getting away from it. You've got Khadgar, who's like just come off the fucking hockey field or something. Like, just been playing a bit of lacrosse or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you've got Medivh, who's like, "You're not the Guardian yet, because I am.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm going to set fire to all your books."
that comes through pretty quickly.
Yeah,
like, you get the idea.
And it's almost like the more interesting stuff with him happens later on. And for me, that the best scene with him was again that awesome fight in Dead Wind Pass.
Yeah.
Where he's at the top, and he's there specifically just to win the battle for the humans.
Yeah.
And he's like egging himself on because he's losing his power. That's the thing. Like, Medivh is a character who is losing his power. He's old. The new Guardian is already in training, and you get the feeling he's very jealous of that.
Yeah.
And there's this real sense of, like, I'm not as powerful as I was. And although it's not really explicitly explained, perhaps that's why he started looking to Fel. Because he was like, I'm not powerful enough to protect the realm, and that's my job. I'm going to need to find more power from somewhere, which is why he starts accepting Fel magic.
Yeah.
And he's really ashamed of that. And he's also hyper aware that he's not very powerful. Like, every time he goes out of Karazhan, he gets really weak, and he has to be put into this big pool to kind of like charge himself back up again when he comes back. So there's this brilliant moment where he's on the top of Dead Wind Pass, and he sees the battle going, and he's like, "Come on, Medivh, all you got to do is do some magic." You know, just like I'm holding a staff here, by the way. I'm acting. He's like, Medivh, all you got to do is just like cast some awesome Medivh magic.
Yeah, he's like, just like old times or something like that. Like trying to egg himself on.
And he does. And it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Actually.
Magic in this movie.
Magic.
What do you think?
Magic. I mentioned the portals.
Yeah.
I really loved the portals. I don't know why. I thought they were a really cool, you know, bringing to life something that you just see on Warcraft, and suddenly just like, you know, it's they pull it out of the ground and it kind of swirls around them, and you get sucked through it. And I like that. Magic was pretty good in that sense.
I thought I loved the magic in this movie.
I wanted more magic.
Me
I wanted
too.
more of like that credit scene where it's like just like
Proper mage kind of fireworks.
Like,
yeah, I needed more of that.
Yeah, I think it's because we're so used to watching the game, and you just see all these little.
But
like,
there's a reason the game works. Like, there's a reason why that is satisfying to watch.
Yeah.
Because it is like this fireworks show, and it is cool. And like, for me, my favourite bit of magic in the entire film was that bit in Dead Wind Pass. And like, he's going, okay, right, and he finally kind of steps up, and he's doing his fucking magic. And he's like, and like lightning starts coming out of his eyes. And yeah, obviously it was computer effects, but it kind of looked weirdly 70s to me. Do you know what I mean? It looked kind of stop motion in a way. Maybe there's like a strobe effect going on or something.
Maybe, but the lightning was
it looked quite physical and real, and it was like, it didn't look like what you see in most movies.
I get what you mean.
For that kind of effect.
Yeah, it didn't feel like sanitized. It was like real magic. That's kind of like.
That's a good way of putting it. It did feel a bit dirty and unsanitized.
Yeah,
and
it was like.
Yeah, and one thing I would say about all of those computer effects, they are very unique. You know, and they do feel kind of very, very stylistically separate from pretty much any movie I've ever seen, which is incredibly satisfying. Even in those big, like, bombastic magic bits, which you see in loads of movies. Yeah, but it did feel very.
It felt different.
Yeah,
it felt like its own thing. Yeah,
yeah, totally. It's really cool.
Totally.
So okay, we've so Khadgar at the end. What did you think of the moment where he totally turns into a nasty demon?
Oh, well, he does for a second.
There's a moment where he just gives in to
you mean
the
Medivh.
Medivh, what did I say?
Khadgar.
Why do I keep saying Khadgar?
It's confusing them.
Is it because I don't think in World of Warcraft at the moment that Khadgar is really a goodie? I keep thinking Khadgar's going to turn around and fucking become like a nasty demon in World of Warcraft. God. I kind of hope he does, because I'd love to kill that fucker.
Well, he might, because there's a moment actually when Khadgar, towards the end, just like suppresses Medivh, who's turned into this demon.
And he does just turn into this fucking demon. Yeah. Like, because again, it's not like that awesome time walking dungeon, where not time walking dungeon, but Caverns of Time dungeon, where you go back to Swamp of Sorrows and Medivh is there just controlling the portal and going, "Come out, orcs, out you come, blah blah blah. I'm evil Medivh." Blah. No, he's like, again, kind of gets possessed. It's not really him doing it, but he gets this big craggy kind of face.
Yeah, and horns.
Got a bit of a laugh from the audience. That craggy face, didn't it?
Yeah,
it didn't look great.
No, it was fine. But there's a bit when.
But suddenly, before he dies, he just turns into a full-on Warcraft demon.
Like
Warcraft demon. Horns, wings,
glowing eyes.
fucking the demon. He looks like the Warcraft demon, which is a lovely little nod and stuff, but it comes out of, again, fucking nowhere.
Does, what?
Yeah,
it's like, I know he had powers, but
yeah,
what?
and it's like, oh, I get it, because he's a warlock now, and that's something that warlocks used to be able to do in World of Warcraft before they gave that shit to demon hunters. So I saw that, and because obviously I'm following like the beta and the alpha of Legion, and when he turns into that big fucking demon, I'm like, shit, is Medivh a demon hunter? Because demon hunters do that shit. It's like, no, he's a warlock now.
He did actually look a bit like the demon hunter.
Well, he looked like Illidan, didn't he?
Yeah,
and he's
he
like,
did, he did.
And he gets that. He looks like Illidan. It's kind of cool. I think he's probably just meant to look a bit like Illidan. So it's one of those things like the Murloc being there and shit, where you're just supposed to go, yeah, cool, yeah. And then a big fucking golem falls on him, which is weird. And then, sorry.
Yeah, but then Khadgar is like, ending Medivh basically, and Khadgar has this moment where he turns green with fel.
Yeah, fel in his eyes.
He's
and shit.
He's like possessed by the fel, and you're like.
And I thought that was going to be the moment where Khadgar turns old.
Oh.
Because in the battle with Medivh, with Lothar, in lore in the book, Medivh turns him old, and he's old before his time. That's why Khadgar is old. And has a big beard in the big statue of him in Stormwind before he becomes like a sexy old like Harrison Ford type guy in Warlords of Draenor.
Yes, it's like Silver Fox.
Yeah. Love you. Yeah, totally. But obviously for many expansions before Warlords of Draenor, you'll all remember, he had a big fuck off beard. By the way, that model in Shatratar, is it Shatratar? I always mispronounce. Thank you. Has been like with the big beard and shit. Yeah. Has been replaced by the new Khadgar model.
Really?
Yeah, you go to Shatra now. It's big, strong.
I've got to check it out. Then.
I'm kind of old, but I'm ripped. You can just kind of like your dad, but you'd like to see me naked. So like. It's that Khadgar, which is in Shatra now.
Love that.
Yeah. And that's the moment where he was like helping or so. No, so he was kind of drowning him in a way.
Yeah,
wasn't
he was drowning him, but kind of like sucking out the fel.
And then, I thought he was going to be like, I'm old now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be the moment. And I think they want you to think that.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Instead, he just kind of channels it and then says something about darkness becoming light, and then everything's okay.
Yeah, which is not as epic as they probably wanted it to be.
No.
From darkness comes light. No, from light comes darkness, and from darkness comes light. Cheers, Metzen. Thanks, mate. I refuse to believe that Zoe Bowie put that in.
Yeah, it's not the best line or the best idea, really. Yeah. Anyway.
I recognise you from the library.
Anyway.
So, but Khadgar has a beautiful moment at the end where he's dying.
You mean
he's
Medivh?
Medivh has a beautiful moment at the end where he's dying, and he instead of bringing orcs through the portal to kill all the humans that are fighting there, he makes the portal to Stormwind so the humans can get away.
Yeah.
He's lying there dying, and he's just like, Loki, Doki, Doki Da, Stormwind, blah, blah. Like that. It's magic talk I'm doing there. Yeah. You're lucky I didn't accidentally zap you when I was doing that magic talk.
I was worried for a moment.
I was like, Yoki, Doki Da. And sounded Welsh. And that's really nice. So he kind of does find brief redemption at the end.
He does.
Which is nice. And I think he was, although most of the scenes he was in were a bit lame, I felt like I liked what they did with his character.
Yeah.
And Ben Foster's a really nice actor. I thought his was one of the better human performances in it.
Yeah. And shout out to his little assistant man.
Oh, yeah!
One of the Cylons, right?
Yeah!
Totally.
Yes! Yeah, fuck, thank you. Yeah, absolutely, Cylon. Yeah, of course. Like I knew I fucking... Yeah.
You're a Cylon. Anyway,
do you think
Medivh
knew he was a Xylon? Do you think that's why he killed him?
Ooh,
do you think that's why he sucked out his face?
Hold on. Yeah.
You're a Xylon.
Maybe. I liked him in like the 2 scenes he appeared. He was pretty good.
Before he died.
Yeah.
Before his life force got sucked away from him.
Terrible death. Okay, what other characters do we
Okay, so Medivh. What about King Lane?
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do, because King Lane is really important in this movie, and actually has a much bigger part in this movie than I thought he was going to.
Yeah.
Because in the trailers, Dominic Cooper does not appear much in those trailers, and I was like, oh, good, Dominic Cooper's not really going to be in this movie much. He is. He's in this movie quite a lot. Yeah. And do you know what? I quite liked him.
This is where we...
Let's get something out of the way.
So we disagree.
You don't know me as well as Evitel does, obviously. But I fucking hate Dominic Cooper.
Maybe that's a bit strong.
I've got an irrational hatred of Dominic Cooper. Ask me why I hate Dominic Cooper.
Why?
He's a
Oh.
I'm going to bleep that out, don't worry. I don't. That's not for our videos. I don't mind fuck, but no.
No, it's a bit strong.
And I just don't like him. I think he's like a really charmless actor, and I don't buy him in any of the movies I see. I don't buy him as like Tony Stark's dad in the Avengers movies. I do not believe that dude as Tony Stark's dad at all. Do you know why? He's about 3 foot tall. He's like skinnier than me. And I just don't like him at all. I liked him in this movie. I liked King Lane in this movie, and I liked Dominic Cooper in this movie.
I didn't. He's so small, and he has this little pug face, which I'm sure works in other situations, but I didn't buy him as a king. Maybe that was intentional, where he wasn't supposed to be this like, king. He was a bit like... He was a bit soft.
He was a good king. He was taking people's advice.
That's true.
And he was like listening to them. And when it came down to it, he was very brave. And when it came down to it, he made a sacrifice.
He gave his life.
Now, in the law, in game law, Garona is possessed by, what is it? Gul'dan, probably, I can't remember. And she kills King Lothar in front of...
King Lane,
in front of Varian Wynn.
Oh.
Who is also in this movie, and again was one of those moments where I was like, I just want to see more Varian Wynn. Like, little kid Varian Wynn.
I didn't even notice him.
You didn't notice where he was like, when he was going out to battle, his final battle, he was like, I can't think of anyone that I'd rather leave in charge than you, Varian.
Oh.
And little Varian Wynn's there with like really long black hair and quite a square face, fittingly, and Varian Wynn's like, I'm Varian Wynn.
I was just busy hating on Dominic Cooper.
Yeah, but I liked him, and and in this movie, Garona does still kill Varian Wynn, but I really like how they built up a relationship between them, and Varian Wynn and his wife, Ruth Negga, totally build a really good relationship, a much more believable relationship with Garona than I think Lothar does. You know, because that shit comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I believe Ruth Negga, and I believe King. Lane, thank you. I believe them building up that relationship with Garona. So towards the end, Blackhand is like going boom, boom, and like the portal has been cut off. There's just like a handful of humans left. This is when all the nasty deaths happen. Yeah. And Lane turns to Garona. He's like, "There's no point both of us dying. Kill me." So you win their trust and essentially be a kind of a sleeper agent.
That was quite good, actually.
Yeah, and Garona has this tears in her eyes, like she does in the law as well, as she's killing, but she's possessed them. Yeah. And she stabs him in the neck with the dagger, which was given to her by the Queen, by Ruth Negga, and wins the trust of the orcs that way. Which is really interesting, because in the original law, she's possessed, so she's kind of like a sleeper agent for the Horde. Oh. And kills King Lane that way. Yeah. But in this, she kills King Lane to become a kind of a sleeper agent for the Alliance in the Horde. Oh. Which is really interesting. So the law stays the same, but it's also different.
Maybe she's going to be like too racked with guilt.
Yeah, and I can see that
ever go back to the Alliance.
Totally. And of course, Lothar fucking hates her now.
Yeah.
Because he finds the dagger in his neck and stuff.
The dagger.
So yeah, and I liked what they did with King Lane in this movie, and I liked Dominic Cooper. He was just naive enough for me to believe.
Okay,
you know,
I'll buy that.
And he played it straight. He didn't try and do anything special. He was like, I thought he gave a good performance. I thought he was pretty good.
He had some sweet griffins,
mate.
Ooh.
He had griffins all over the shop. What do you think of the griffins?
I loved them. They made me wish, because at some point, Lothar swoops in and sees King Lane's body and stuff, and has to retrieve it, and his Griffin just starts like kicking ass.
Yeah.
And like eating people. And I wish that, you know, like my mounts could do that.
Yeah, totally.
Can I just say one thing? Isn't it so weird seeing Stormwind without a million like dragon mounts on top of it?
Yeah. Yeah, when you have like swooping shots of Stormwind, and you're like, there's no kind of just massive dragon mounts everywhere. Yeah, totally.
Or like the ashes of Alar like floating around,
or
like,
flying mooses.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this doesn't feel like Stormwind to me. There are no mounts.
And I saw a mailbox. I'm pretty sure there weren't like 50 people around that mailbox. Like it's like people were just, you know, generally just walking up to the mailbox.
I didn't hear any like crafting noises. I didn't, you know, it didn't feel real to me.
And there were no kids walking in pentagrams either. I didn't believe a fucking thing that happened in that Stormwind. I didn't believe. But there is that scene that we're talking about where King Lane is marching out of Stormwind with his army, and he says goodbye to the Queen. He says goodbye to Varian. I love that Varian was in that movie. I really do.
That is pretty.
I love Varian.
Oh.
I do.
Oh.
I really like him.
Well,
shame, innit? And yeah, totally. It's like, don't get too attached. And I really loved that. But they were going down to the exit of Stormwind.
Yeah.
And those little bits, and they walk past the cheese shop, and they walk past the guild store.
Yeah.
It's like you could pick up some. You should, before you go to battle, King Lane, maybe pick up some heirloom pants from the guild store, because I've got a feeling they're going to really help. They'll just OP you a little bit. You're just there. You're just there. Get a squire. Get some heirloom pants, because that's the only place you can get them. Lane. It's the only place you can get them. And that's going to help. It's going to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and those little moments were beautiful, and I loved them, and I thought were really good. And there weren't enough of them, if I'm honest. I really enjoyed the movie, and I enjoyed it most when I was allowed to indulge.
Yeah.
In the Warcrafty stuff, but I also think those are the best moments filmically as well.
I agree, and in that vein, okay, kind of two things that would happen in my perfect Warcraft movie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Can you? Will they include things that are in this movie as well?
No, these are things that don't happen in this movie.
Okay.
That would happen. Still good movie. These things would happen in my perfect Warcraft movie. One, Warcraft music.
Yeah. That did happen.
Oh, but they were just snippets. And I wanted more. And then there's a bit that rolls over the credits at the very, very end.
When it goes to normal credits.
Normal credits, like cut to black credits. And it just when you hear music, and to me, and I think to a lot of people, the music in Warcraft is like such an integral part of the experience.
I get why they didn't just want to straight up use Warcraft music.
I get that as well, but I feel like they could have at least incorporated the themes.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually.
Because nothing gets me more excited than hearing like battleground music. You know what I mean? Or like,
yeah.
You know, and
yeah, and when the end credits start, you've had the theme that's been in the movie all the way through, which is good. And it's quite Warcrafty.
That's not saying it's not. Yeah, the music was really good. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
But then suddenly that cuts out, and it goes. And you're like, bum bum bum, and you're like, I'm just gonna sit here for the credits, I think, because this is nice.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I totally agree, and those moments are really awesome.
And and this kind of takes me to my second point. It's a second thing that would be in my perfect Warcraft movie, and maybe this would just have to be a different movie entirely and not about lore. I was just dying to see like classes doing their thing.
Yeah, actually.
Like I want to see a mage like do some pew pew, and I wanted to see like a hunter fly in with a pet, and I think that's the thing, because you see like the soldiers of Stormwind and they're fighting, and they're just those Stormwind soldiers with like the hats and stuff.
Did that work as a stylistic thing? Because it was very stylized and game-like.
It was, and like huge shoulders.
And again, wasn't realistic really in any way.
No.
But did you buy it?
Yeah, I thought that was good. I thought that was fine. But I think just because I'm used to seeing Warcraft populated with all these different characters and races, I was just like itching for like a rogue to fly in, and I guess that's
when that kind of shit did happen.
World,
it was more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, because it was just. I don't think that's me. I keep saying this in this video. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's me talking as a fanboy. I think like those moments that were more gamey were more interesting because there was more variety in what was going on. Like, the Warcraft universe has a lot more variety than was represented in this film.
Oh yeah, of course. And you can't just put it in one film, and that's why I'm saying maybe
they just did the wrong story then.
No, I think it's
What
fine.
if they... Okay, but like in your perfect Warcraft movie, what if instead of starting at essentially orcs and humans, which they did, what if they jumped in at, say, Wrath of the Lich King?
Well, I think
Or
I'm
Arthur's.
just
Or
thinking
Arthur's.
about
What if
it
they jumped in
now.
at Warcraft 3? So you had all those different races, and what if they just fucked off the first 2 games? And actually, this film is kind of the story of the first 2 games, kind of vaguely. So what if they just jumped straight in with Warcraft 3 and told that story?
I don't know, because maybe it's like those early games when, you know, the gameplay isn't so dynamic and like visual and cool. Maybe it's okay to make films about that. But once you start making films about gameplay where you do have kind of 3D characters jumping around, you do have maybe, I don't know.
And having said that, like we've all agreed the best bits were the orcs.
Yeah.
And so more the merrier.
So I guess this is like a lore movie, right? And this wasn't just a World of Warcraft movie. It was a Warcraft movie.
Yeah.
So I guess so. But that would just be in kind of my perfect universe. People just like... Pew,
I want to talk about the birth of Thrall.
Oh, yeah. Is that Thrall?
Yeah. What the fuck? Come on.
Okay.
So, we've seen Varian win. Baby, like little kid Varian win.
Yeah.
We know what's going to happen to him. And we see the birth of Thrall when they go through the portal. And she gives birth to Thrall the second she's through the portal.
Yeah, well, it's like
because it brings on the birth.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because the kind of elite fighting squad of the orcs has gone through the portal because that's all they've got the power for at first.
Yeah.
To go into Azeroth. And she's there and it like induces the birth. And she's like on all fours. Like, and Blackhand's like, you brought a fucking pregnant orc through here, you dick! I'm gonna kill her. And Gul'dan, and this is why I liked this scene.
Yeah.
Gul'dan rocks up, and you've just seen him being really evil.
Yeah.
Like, really evil. Like some Draenei mum has just gone, please spare my baby. And he's like, I need them all. And so, and he's like, he rocks up behind her, like on all fours, and is like, push. And Thrall gets born, and Thrall is dying. Thrall is dead.
Yeah,
like,
is
and Gul'dan,
dead.
and everyone's like, oh shit, this little baby's dead. Because they're orcs, but you know. And Gul'dan holds Thrall in his hand, and there's like this beautiful deer.
Like a little Warcraft deer.
Yeah. And Gul'dan uses his fell magic, and he's like, sucks all the life out of the deer, and then breathes it into Thrall.
Yeah.
So he gives Thrall life.
Yeah.
Which I thought was awesome.
It was pretty cool.
And actually, like a genuinely good scene anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what turns Thrall green.
Yeah.
And he's like, and breathes, and then he like uses him like a symbol of the first orc born on this world sort of thing.
Yeah.
But also, it was genuinely quite a kind of a nice moment from a baddie as well, and like he saves a child's life. That's what he does.
And Baby Thrall was pretty cute.
Baby Thrall was awesome.
Baby Thrall stole the show.
I get the feeling they actually genuinely probably just stuck a load of fucking pads onto a baby.
Oh, it was clearly a baby.
Yeah.
It's just some little additions, like
like,
ears.
And the occasional, which is quite cool.
The movie ends on Baby Thrall.
Yes.
Which is quite nice, actually.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
What did you think about Thrall as Moses? As in, like, I'm going to escape and I'm going to put Thrall in a wicker basket.
Yeah.
And, like, send him off down the river. Is that just because, like, the joke is that Thrall is Green Jesus anyway? You know, like... And I kind of feel like we get enough of that in game. Green Jesus.
It's all
Did we
just a
really
bit
need a
biblical.
fucking wicker basket?
A little biblical.
Did we need a Moses analogy with Green Jesus?
Okay, it made sense because she was just carrying him around in this thing on her back. Yeah. So then she like took it off and threw him in the river. I didn't mind.
I loved her, by the way.
She was so good.
I forget her name. Paula Patton. No, that was Garona. Sorry.
That's Duratan's wife.
Oh fuck! I didn't write down her name. She's awesome though.
She was really good, and
She's so great.
I liked them together.
Yeah,
they were so good.
I really liked them.
Yeah.
I
never thought I'd say that about 2 orcs.
But I thought she was
look at me.
particularly good.
She was very good.
I really liked her.
Yeah, she was great. She had a good, face.
Yeah. So why did the orcs work so well and the humans not? And I say that, okay, let's come square on this. This is about something we're going to talk about in this channel, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I play Alliance pretty much exclusively.
Same.
You know, I've got like a couple of Horde characters, but not anything serious.
Yeah.
I play Alliance, I raid on Alliance. I'm not in any Horde guilds even, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty Alliance biased. Why did the orcs work so well in this movie and the humans didn't?
They were so well animated. Also, I think as you start with the orcs, you get the sense that they're struggling. You know, maybe they are a bit barbaric, but they also have an honor code.
Yeah, that's
and true. They have babies and they have relationships and things that...
But having said that, there are orcs in this movie who are definitely baddies. And with the exception of Medivh, who's possessed by demons, there aren't really any humans who are baddies in this movie. Like, in the trailer, it kind of suggested there would be humans who were, like, not very sympathetic. Because it's like, they are just beasts, we must kill them all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that line wasn't even in the movie in the end. I'm pretty sure that wasn't in there.
No.
Just like a couple of scenes that I've seen that aren't in that movie.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because they're interesting because they're more realistic. Like, they're not only good.
Yeah.
I think so. They're good and they're bad, and...
I guess there's just more interesting stuff happening with them, wasn't there?
Yeah, and the bit where Lothar gets in the fight with...
Blackhand?
Yeah, Blackhand, and slices him down the middle. And then all the other orcs are just like, kind of like, they let him go.
Great ending, I thought, by the way.
Really good.
Loved that scene.
Yeah.
I thought it was really... the fight was shit.
Yeah.
But the bit after that was
and they're
awesome.
all like, oh, respect, you know.
Yeah.
And so they're interesting.
They've got a code.
Yeah, they have a code. And so they're not human, but they have this kind of humanity.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought that was obviously something they really wanted to do with the movie, and rightfully so, was that they wanted to present both sides of it. That's what Warcraft does. That's the whole point of Warcraft. Like, you play both sides, and you can see it from both sides, and that was really important for the movie. I kind of feel like it's one of the things in reviews that I've kind of glanced at that people have actually been critical of.
Really?
Yeah, of that. We just needed some straight up baddies. It's like, you had 2 baddies in that movie.
Yeah.
You had 2 straight up baddies in that film.
Yeah.
You know, only one of them gets their comeuppance.
Yeah.
But there are 2 like blatant baddies in this movie.
Yeah. And it's
a human one and an orc.
Yeah, and like again, Warcraft isn't about baddies. It's about these 2 sides that, you know, have their disagreements and stuff.
Yeah.
But they both have their reasons for doing things.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I think the orcs came across better than the humans in this.
Yeah, but I mean. Yeah, that was partly due to the fact they were just more interesting characters as well.
That's probably true.
And they just looked cooler.
Yeah.
They looked cool. They looked so cool.
They look so cool.
What about Doomhammer?
I liked him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I liked him too. I thought he was really good. I thought he was one of the more interesting characters in the film.
He was very good.
Even though he didn't do much at the very beginning.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't really do much. He didn't do much
in the film, and yet still manages to remain interesting.
Mm-hmm. Again, he's conflicted, and that's for good viewing.
He hits people with a massive hammer as well, with the Doom Hammer.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is not a one-handed weapon.
Yeah, no one can swing that with one hand.
No. Like, I mean, you can swing it with one hand, but you can't hold it with one hand.
No.
Like, you hold it with 2 hands.
Yeah.
You can just about swing it with one hand.
Yeah. But you gotta
hold that shit with 2.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar. And, like, you know, drink your wine. And, yeah, I really liked that performance as well. I thought it was really good. Again, the orcs just did more with their faces.
Yeah,
than the humans did. Well, with the exception of, you know, obviously Lothar, who's like...
Okay. Again, Lothar looked completely stony-faced to me, so I think we just saw different movies.
What about the fucking buddy relationship between Lothar and Khadgar? Because I don't know if you noticed, but there was supposed to be a buddy relationship there.
Oh, I felt it was a bit father-son.
Really?
Yeah, when he was like, "I'm proud of you."
Yeah, I guess so.
I
I
didn't
guess
get
so, but
buddies.
they're playing in the same sort of age.
No.
Yeah.
Again, Khadgar's like a child.
Yeah, but so's like, how old is Fimmel?
Lothar is clearly a man in his 30s.
Yeah, but like,
And then
if he's a
Khadgar's
man in
like
his 30s,
half his
Khadgar is
age.
clearly like 19 at the very least.
Yeah,
Like,
so he's like...
well,
he's a
and also
child.
so is fucking Lothar's son in that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he's not old, like,
No.
yeah.
No, but so it's like it's maybe a little brother big brother relationship.
Okay, yeah. But did you find it an interesting relationship? Did you enjoy watching it?
Yeah. It's like Lothar was like, who is this kid? And then Khadgar does some good things, and he's like, you're all right.
Okay. I kind of feel like that was the relationship that was meant to be set up as a kind of a carrying force through the movie, and you're supposed to laugh at it, and you're supposed to be like, oh, Lothar thinks this dude's a dweeb, but then he kind of proves himself, and blah blah.
I didn't get
and
that.
Yeah, exactly. But I kind of feel like
Maybe they wanted
because I know
that.
how films are made, like because I'm a human being and I've seen a film before.
Yeah.
Like I kind of think that was supposed to be what was happening there, and I didn't really get that. I didn't get that from it. I wanted to know what you thought, but you didn't get that either.
I didn't get that either.
No.
No.
Shame in it.
No. That's okay.
What was your absolute favourite thing about the movie?
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard question.
Right.
I think we've been talking about it. I think the orcs were great.
Yeah.
I loved the orcs, and I really felt for Duratan and baby Thrall. Yeah, I loved watching them.
So,
What was yours?
if my favourite thing about the movie was that scene in Deadwind Pass where they come together and Garona is translating between Duratan and King Lane, and I think one of the things I liked about that movie, that scene as well, is because it wasn't Lothar driving the action, because I didn't buy him driving the action. I didn't felt like he was decisive or strong enough. You know, he felt like this fucking stoner ex-boyfriend who was hanging around. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like, well, okay, fine. We obviously just got different things from this guy. But in that scene, it was Duratan and King Lane. And it felt like stakes were high.
Yeah.
And it felt like shit was getting done.
Yeah.
And then, like, they get ambushed. And Oghren betrays. And there's an awesome fight. And shit happens. And Medivh is there being all like, oh, God, I don't even know. And then, like, Lothar's son dies. And that was actually really nice.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be lame. But it was actually really good.
It was good because
Yeah.
Medivh's magic, he kind of creates this wall to separate them from most of the orcs. But his son, Lothar's son, is stuck behind the wall and just can't get through it no matter what. But he can like just reach a hand out to touch him before he dies.
Before he gets stabbed.
It's really quite sad.
By
But-
Blackhand's new hand.
Yeah.
That replaced the hand that Lothar blew off with his boomstick.
Yes.
Very nice.
And then actually, I really liked again, more points for the orcs. At one point when Black Hand comes in and is like, you know, they're killing the Frostwolf clan and stuff, and Black Hand's like, I don't want to kill any more innocents. Or whatever.
Yeah.
He says that after he kills Lothar's son, which is quite nice. He's like, it's like even these orcs are just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill any more kids.
Yeah, and you do get a sense that the orcs are behaving badly because of Gul'dan.
Yeah.
And because of their desperation that Gul'dan is playing on, and because of the fell magic. I get that. I like orcs a lot more than I did before I went and saw this movie.
Yeah.
And, like, I wouldn't feel terrible about playing an orc in World of Warcraft now, I suppose. Zug.
Zug.
No one said Zug.
They said Zug.
What?
When? They chanted Zug.
No, when? When did they say Zug?
Am I making this? At the end when when they're chanting,
Yeah?
they go Zug. Zug.
No fucking
Zug.
way! What? I missed that
Did
shit.
I just hear that? Maybe that's
it's just
my
your
head.
brain.
No,
going, comments. Do they say Zug?
because they're chanting.
Zug.
Do you remember? No, they don't say it quite like
Well,
that.
why the fuck not?
Well,
Zug.
you know.
It's like if Gul'dan just went, "Give me some more fucking guys to suck the faces off," and someone just went, "Zug." I went off. That top points, top draw. That's exactly what I want.
They chant at one point. Do you remember them chanting?
Yeah. Well, they did a lot
I'm
of chanting.
pretty sure they're going Zug. Zug.
Cool. No, I missed that. That totally passed me by.
No.
That's wicked.
Yeah, that might just be me.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I did not stop that. I did not see that at all.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh. So, if this is a massive success, and it hasn't opened in America yet. It's only just opened in Britain. I was quite pleased. I know it's Bank Holiday Monday, which is a holiday in the UK. So whatever. But I was really interested to see the audience that were at this movie.
Yeah.
Because they were quite clearly Warcraft fans and aficionados.
How did you spot them?
I spotted them because there were two girls in front of me. When you went to go and get our seats and I was getting nachos,
Yeah.
there were two girls in front of me who were buying tickets. And they were like, can we have 2 to the Warcraft movie, please? And the woman was like, yeah, there you go. And one of them went to the other one, like that. And like they were genuinely excited to be going to see the Warcraft movie. They were not going to see that movie because fucking Mustang was sold out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they were, they wanted to go and see that movie. And like there were guys there, some of them with girls who were like, but there were also like guys who were there with guys and guys who were there with girls who were clearly there because it was Warcraft. But there were also, interestingly, people who you sense go and see every movie.
Yeah.
There were people there who were just out to see any fucking movie, and that looked like the most actiony type movie that was there.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see the different reactions to people.
Yeah.
So assuming, and it has been a hit in Europe financially. It's been a massive hit in China financially. Good old Wu. Good work, Wu. Thanks, mate. People are predicting it won't be such a big hit in America.
Really?
But
Why
China's
is
a
that?
much more important market anyway, so fuck
Yeah.
them. I don't know. I think I just read somewhere that it was predicted bad sales for their opening weekend, but that's not for 2 weeks anyway, so I don't see how they fucking know that. But okay, let's say best case scenario, it's a massive hit financially, if not critically. Although I think a lot of the bad reviews I've read have been incredibly unfair now that I've seen it. What would you like to see in the next Warcraft movie? Where would you like it to go from here? Characters, things that happen.
Well, I don't know my lore that well.
But you know what you like.
Orc babies.
More orc babies.
More orc babies.
So you basically want to become like a Warcraft version of Rugrats.
A little bit.
Yeah, Warcraft Babies. That could be a new series. It's like
maybe.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I want more magic. I want more just
I want whiz bang. More whiz bang.
Yeah, more whiz bang. And I want more races. I want the Draenei to come back.
The Draenei won't come back though, will they? That's the thing. Like, if one thing we can guarantee in the next movie, like, we are off Draenor now.
Yeah.
That shit is gone.
Fine.
Like, so we're not going to see any more Draenei, and I was pleased with how much we even saw of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's a really nice scene with the Draenei mother, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll see much more of them. But I'd like to see more races as well.
Night elves?
We need to see night elves, don't we?
Yeah.
We need to see them pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah.
We need, like, the high elves are there. High elves get a very fleeting appearance twice in this movie, just hanging out in Stormwind.
Yeah.
So, like, you need them because you're going to need Sylvanas.
Yeah.
And
so what's this,
the Windrunners.
What's this rumor about Tauren?
Oh no! Well, Duncan Jones has already said that it's basically decided that if he makes another movie, he gets to put Tauren in it.
Wow!
And he'd love to put Tauren in it.
How is he going to pull that one off?
Get some cows. Give them magic.
I mean, orcs...
Get some cows, put them around a totem pole, boom. Done. What the fuck do you want? Like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, put them on a big fucking hill somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, give them some windmills and totem poles and some, like, kind of, like, cool Native American horn music. Ooh, like, pipe music. That's what it is.
Panpipes.
Do you know what I want to see?
What?
Trolls.
Ooh.
Because I want to see them do some semi-racist fucking Jamaican accents.
Oh.
Although, I kind of get that... with them not doing the Scottish accents for dwarves, although they were all Cockney. Because we hear about 3 different dwarves talk, and they're all Cockney. Like, I get they probably wouldn't make the trolls Jamaican now.
They might not.
If it came down to it.
They might not. Although I wouldn't mind if they were.
Well, I've noticed that the troll that does the narration for the Old Gods Hearthstone expansion isn't, like, excessively Jamaican.
Yeah, she is.
Really?
Yeah.
I think she's quite restrained compared to Warcraft trolls.
She's like, hello, man. Like, it's
really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, man.
From what I remember. Maybe that's just how I remember trolls.
I would love it, okay, if the trailer came out for Warcraft 2.
And it was just trolls.
And the first thing we heard was like, hey, man. And you're like, oh, shit. Oh, dang. What? No, like, basically, if a next Warcraft movie comes out, it has to have some Windrunner shit in it, surely.
Sure.
Because they need to set up... Because basically, they can't do a third movie without having at least Sylvanas. Mm-hmm. Because that's when shit gets real. You know, I get there is cool stuff that happens before that. I get that, like lore nerds and stuff. Of course I do. And this movie has proved that there is some really interesting stuff that happens. But let's not fuck around. We all want to see Sylvanas. We all want to see Artus.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, we want to see that shit, and we need that laid down in the next movie.
Yeah, totally. Bring that lore to life. That would be cool. What?
Hashtag bring that lore to life.
Hashtag bring that lore to life.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm not into like. This has been incredibly rambling, hasn't it? Well, I'm not into like giving a score or anything. But can you sum up your kind of overall rating, I suppose, of the Warcraft movie in a succinct 1 or 2 paragraph delivery?
Okay. Probably not.
Go on, give it a go.
Okay.
It's your job after all.
God. I'm
not going to tell you what our actual real life jobs are, okay?
Please
But
don't.
Evitel's job is basically to do what she's about to do now.
I enjoyed it. It was, as a movie on its own, maybe not the greatest bit of filmmaking. At the same time, had some great CGI. Like some really interesting... Surprisingly unique and nice CGI that brought characters to life, like the orcs, in a new way. For me, at least. And that kind of gave me a new appreciation of those characters. Coming to it as not a Warcraft fan, I think it might be a little bit confusing, and I think the plot would be difficult to follow, but I think if you stick through it would make sense. You might not get everything, but you get the idea that there are these kind of 2 factions figuring it out. And I enjoyed it. I had fun. I liked being in the world of Warcraft, and I want to do that more. So thanks, Duncan Jones.
Sort it out, Duncan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that I had a strange emotional response to this movie. Being a Warcraft player of many, many years, and the kind of the time that I've fucking sunk into that game, but also the awesome experiences that I've had in that game. And
which nothing can measure up to.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
And so watching this movie is always going to be a strange experience, no matter what attitude you go into it. Because I know that some gamers will go into it like with an automatically quite negative attitude towards it. I've seen that on forums and stuff, like instantly like rejecting it. Or whether you go into it in a completely fanboy mode, determined to have a brilliant time. I think you have to be prepared to have quite a complicated emotional response to this film. And for me, it's quite possible, I have to admit, it's quite possible that if I wasn't a Warcraft nerd, I might have had quite a negative response to this movie.
Quite likely.
But that was just actually impossible for me. Because of even the parts of me which were cynical going in, like hating CGI movies generally, I was won over by the general flush of emotion that came with this film. And there are parts of it which I really loved. And all the parts of it I loved were the parts I didn't expect to love. Which is kind of my story of Warcraft as well. You know?
Didn't expect to love it, but I did.
The bits that I expected to love about it, didn't expect. I started playing Warcraft because I really enjoyed the Elder Scrolls. And I wanted another RPG.
Yeah.
And when I first started playing Warcraft, I played Rogue. And I spent about 6 months just walking around Redridge trying to pickpocket people? Because that's what I thought you did in an RPG. That's what I thought you did. And it was only when I realised that's not what Warcraft was all about that I started to love it. Because I realised what it was all about. And you know, it was kind of the same with this movie. I went in expecting to like certain things about it.
Yeah.
I was like, Duncan Jones, genuinely good filmmaker. Loved Moon. Really liked Source Code. He's going to get good relationships and good, you know, moments between people. And actually, that doesn't really happen in this movie too much. And the things that I didn't expect to like about it, like some fucking fighting with CGI characters fucking everywhere, those are the bits I really loved. And I loved the really cheap bits of just putting some fucking Warcraft music in.
Yeah.
Just having a fucking Murloc going.
There was also a bit. I don't know if you heard it. There was like the gnolls.
No, I didn't hear the
There's
gnolls.
like.
Where were the gnolls?
If there was as they're walking through Elwyn Forest, you hear them cackling in the background.
Do you know what? If they'd had a fucking gnoll come out, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I would have loved that.
I know.
And I kind of feel like they could
Or
have...
like if they would have walked by the shack of the lady who sells cats in Elwyn Forest, you know? Yeah.
I kind of feel
I'm
like,
with you on that.
despite my expectations, I feel like this could have been a better movie if they'd been more fanboy. You know?
Yeah.
Because I think genuinely those are the best bits. And I feel this film was like tantalizingly close to being a genuinely good film on any level. It was almost there. And it was let down by some weird cuts and some weird storytelling and some weird character interactions. Mostly from the non-CGI parts, it has to be said. That just didn't really work. And if someone gave me the choice of going and watching that movie again, but only the orcs, but twice as much of it, boom, that would be an awesome film.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, there is enough footage for that to happen. Yeah, they cut like 2/3 of that film apparently.
Wow.
And I think that kind of shows in some of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, internet, this has been a really long video. I'm sorry if you hate it. It's not really like our other videos. So, sorry. Thank you for all of our subscriptions and likes and comments that we've been getting. More than 10 people watch our videos, which is awesome to us. Like, it genuinely blows our mind.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Really
so
does.
thank you. I'm sorry if this one doesn't quite measure up, but we just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah.
And get our views on this movie out there, because whatever, it's what we do, and I think it's important. We're not going to do other film reviews.
Yeah.
This is just kind of a one-off, really. We want to get out there and drink some wine, eat some Chinese.
Yeah.
And talk about it with you guys. So we'd be really interested to hear what you think when you see it. And thank you for watching the channel. We're going to work a bit harder on putting out videos a bit more now, I think, because we've had a really good response. So as long as we can put out videos which aren't shit, which is harder than you think.
Might be a struggle.
Yeah, seriously. We're going to put some out. I've got a couple of Warcraft videos we want to put out. We've got an Overwatch video we want to put out as well. So in the next couple of weeks, those should all come out. And we'd love to know what you think about them.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
And awesome. This is me, Taliesin.
And me, Evitel.
And this was our views on the Warcraft movie. Warcraft!
The movie. The beginning.
Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you, Internet. Until next time.
Thanks, guys.